Good morning! Welcome to Power to the Flower. I'm Kara and we're here in my backyard in Walnut Creek, California, which is Zone 9. In this video, I want to share with you how I prune my container shrub roses. This is a Roald Dahl rose. We're going into this rose's third season. So if you want to see when I planted this rose 2 years ago and then last year how I pruned it after its first flowering season, you can check out those videos up there. Today's video is going to be second year established rose pruning. It's very similar to last year, except that we don't need to prune it as much. Last year we were going for 15 to 18 inch stems. This year the idea is you can prune it up to half of its size. The other thing that we're going to be doing is adding in some fertilizer, and that's because already it's starting to send off new growth. I follow the David Austin way. David Austin is a British grower and they recommend pruning in January in our area and then first fertilizer as soon as you see new growth. I already see new growth, so I'm gonna prune and fertilize today. And that's what I have here. I use E.B. Stone's Rose and Flower Food. Had great success with it, so I highly recommend it. You can catch it in my affiliated links below on Amazon. To prune your established rose, all we need to do is cut it back up to half. So here's our rose. If you can see, it's about this tall. So we can go all the way down to last year's prune job if we want. But actually, I think I'll probably just prune it back a little bit. And then the other thing we're looking to do is prune off dead wood, diseased wood, and take off all of the leaves. This is my favorite part. It's actually incredibly annoying, but also so awesome because the leaves from last year could bring disease or pests into the new year's growth. And if you defoliate the rose, it's like starting fresh. So let's go ahead and get into it. What you're gonna need is your bucket for green waste, your pruners, some gloves for sure because of the thorns, and I would recommend wearing long sleeves also for the thorns. The shape of the rose is pretty good already. So this is the furthest out bit to here. But then we have some random long ones. So what you want to do is you want to kind of bring the shape back into a shape that you want. Let's go ahead, and it doesn't really matter where you cut. You just want to bring it into a nice shape. The Roald Dahl is a beautiful rose for the pot because it's very round and it kind of grows over the edge of the pot. The other thing we're going to be doing, remember, is defoliating. So wait to the end, see how much defoliating you need to do after you cut. Maybe none. Honestly, this is looking so good. I'm gonna barely prune it. Just a little bit on the tips. That's how easy it was for the Roald Dahl. Now we're gonna defoliate. And then we wanna clean up all of our leaves to get rid of any disease and pests from last year. That's it for the Roald Dahl. Then we're gonna add some handfuls of fertilizer, and then I just scratch it in like this. After you scratch it in, then you water it in. So what you need to do with watering it is just get all of the fertilizer off the plant, because the fertilizer can burn the plant when the sun comes down. So I'm not gonna do a lot of watering because we've had tons of water here over the last few weeks in California, but I'm just gonna get the dirt off the pot and the fertilizer off the plant. And that's it. So that is the Roald Dahl. Incredibly easy. Now let's move on. I have an Alnwick and a Gabriel Oak as well. Different shapes. All right, so for this one, this is an Alnwick rose. As you can see, the shape of the rose is different. It's more like a vase shape, classic rose shape. And we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna bring it down by half. We're gonna cut out any dead and diseased looking stems and defoliate. I just remembered, this is not a second year container. This is a first year container. So in this case, we want to bring it down to 15 to 18 inches, which ends up being about half. So it's going to be basically the same. Ow. Thorns are pushy. The great thing about roses is they don't really care so much. They're hardy plants. All right, so this is kind of where we want it. I have Dichondra Silver Falls on the bottom. It's not looking very great. I'm just gonna trim it back, but not all the way back, because sometimes when I trim it all the way back, I lose it. Now we need to pull out all of the leaves. Okay, so I'm just cutting out any weak branches that are kind of in the way of the others, because you want air to get in here. There's a bad crossing one right here, so I'm just gonna pull that out. Okay, so this is where we are gonna leave it. And then our last one is Gabriel Oak. Can you even see him? Okay, this is the Gabriel Oak. He did the worst out of all of the roses last season. I'm not even sure really what the shape is. I think the shape is gonna be more like the Roald Dahl, a round shape in the end, but first season, it didn't have a ton of growth. Yeah, as you can see, it just didn't do so good. So we're gonna cut it back 18 inches, cut off dead and weak stems, which is kind of all of them, to be honest, but we're gonna hope for the best in year 2. Oh, looks like a squirrel's been over here. The same I have for the lady's mantle under here and Dichondra. Let's get these leaves out of here. So I just brought it down to kind of a unified shape. And now we're going to just put some fertilizer on. I just throw 2 handfuls on and scratch it in to get the fertilizer off the plant so that it doesn't burn, because it is supposed to be sunny this week, finally. Same here. I hope that was helpful for you in terms of pruning your shrub roses that you have in containers. I hope what you got out of this video is that, number one, it's not brain science to prune your roses. You want to cut them back by half, or in the case of a rose that you want to just get bigger, 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 just cut off a few inches, up to half. Number two, you want to defoliate for sure and get rid of all of the old leaves in the container so that it can start fresh. Look, I'm even seeing some right now. Number three, if you have new growth, it's time to fertilize, because the first flush is going to come sooner than you think. Number four, if you need any more help, I would refer you to the David Austin website, which has been super helpful for me. I hope this just encouraged you to go out there and get your roses starting fresh for the 2023 season. See you in the next one. Bye.